First chapter of Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, third chapter, and today we will be hearing the fourth chapter. The fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Fourth chapter, we will see that it gets better now. The second chapter and third chapter, they were more technical, needing more attention to understand and needing help to understand how to apply. That's more of second and third chapter. Fourth chapter is good. It's all about transcendental knowledge. It's about our Lord Krishna. So this chapter will be very familiar to us, and we can easily relate to this fourth chapter. Actually, from this chapter on, it'll be so much better. Fourth chapter. So we will hear about the transcendental knowledge today, about Krishna too. And in the fifth chapter, the Nishkama Karma Yoga, it comes to a conclusion. But that's not so difficult to understand. And after that, it opens up. The fifth chapter opens up to the rest of the chapters in Bhagavad Gita, especially to the Ashtanga Yoga in the sixth chapter and Bhakti Yoga in the middle six chapters, like that. So it's very nice, very beautiful. And even if the second and third were very technical, the way we have covered Gita so far, it was covered systematically, and we have divisions in each chapter, which was subdivided, and the points were also brought up. Maybe once we finish the fifth chapter also, what we can do is we can put together the important points about Nishkama Karma Yoga from the second chapter, third chapter, and fifth chapter. Then it will be nicely packed up, the Nishkama Karma Yoga part. That's the most driest subject in Bhagavad Gita, with a lot of technicalities. So that way, before we enter into the middle six chapters, we will be nicely packing Nishkama Karma Yoga and putting that aside. So today will be the fourth chapter. Fourth chapter is Jnana Yoga. And in Jnana Yoga, we will be hearing about Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna first. And then we will hear about what is karma, vikarma, akarma. No problem. They're all easy. I'm just giving you the subheadings. Everything is very flowy, nice, well and good. And after that, we'll hear about the spiritual master and the jnana, knowledge. So if you notice, the first subtopic is also like knowledge, the transcendental knowledge. The last one is also like that, because it was split like that. Lord Krishna says a little bit about jnana here and at the end too, like that. So we'll hear about Lord Krishna first, and then karma, vikarma, karma, spiritual master, and jnana. These are the four topics we are going to hear today. Now coming to the connection with the chapters that we have heard so far. First chapter, Arjuna had the reasons of why not to fight. Second chapter, after Arjuna surrendered to Lord Krishna, Krishna gave the reasons of why Arjuna should fight. And after that, he says, you should fight, you should do your duty like a Nishkama Karma Yogi. And then he starts speaking about what is this Karma Yoga and how to do it and why to do it. Like that, he was speaking in the second and third chapter. And at the end of the third chapter, Lord Krishna speaks about lust. When Arjuna asks this question to Lord Krishna, what is it that pushes a person to do something sinful and not do their occupational duty? To that, Lord Krishna was answering, Kamesha Krodesha Rajo Guna Samudbhava. It is the lust, Arjuna, Nitya Vairina, eternal enemy. And then the Lord speaks about lust there. And at the very end, when Arjuna asks this question, then how to combat, how to conquer this lust, Krishna? When Arjuna asks that question, Lord Krishna says, it's with the transcendental knowledge you conquer this eternal enemy, lust, Arjuna. That's how he ends the third chapter. And this is why the fourth chapter begins with explanation of what is this transcendental knowledge that can conquer the lust. That's why the fourth chapter's title is Jnana Yoga. So that is the fourth chapter. And we can enter into the fourth chapter now. And you will see that you will feel very comfortable with the fourth chapter, especially after the second and third chapter, you will get more comfortable with this now. So I'm going to share my screen, dear devotees. Fourth chapter. Jnana Yoga, transcendental knowledge. Lord Sri Krishna. So, Lord Krishna, after saying that transcendental knowledge is the way to conquer the lust, then Lord Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yoga nashtah parantapam. Oh Arjuna, this transcendental knowledge that I'm going to give you was, I actually gave this knowledge to Vivashwan and other Rajarshis. So in this way, the transcendental information, transcendental knowledge, not information, transcendental knowledge was passed through in the parampara, but during the course of the time, that parampara chain, the disciplic chain was broken, and so the transcendental knowledge is lost. But now, Arjuna, sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaham bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. Arjuna, I am giving this transcendental knowledge to you because you are bhaktosi me sakha cheti, because you are my friend and devotee. That is why rahasyam, this confidential knowledge, I am giving to you, Arjuna. So, this is a little introduction that the Lord Krishna gave in the beginning. But there is a lot here. So, Lord Krishna, when he says, when he tells Arjuna, this knowledge was given in the parampara system, but it was broken, so I'm giving it to you now. So, knowledge, even the material knowledge also, it's passed on from teacher to teacher like that. What to speak of transcendental knowledge? So, especially the transcendental knowledge is given through parampara and not so much through Google and YouTube. So, what we get from these resources is information. Even if it is about bhakti, it is information only. But it is only the knowledge that is given through the parampara can cause transformation in us and revive our relationship with the lordships. So that is the knowledge that is unique. That is the unique thing about receiving the transcendental knowledge in parampara. The knowledge that is received through parampara can strengthen our sambandha. The sambandha is strengthened through the parampara. Any knowledge that is received outside the parampara does not strengthen the sambandha. It will just stay as information. So that's why it is very important that we receive the knowledge through parampara. It is so much about who am I getting this knowledge from. It's not much about what is this information or what is this knowledge. Who is it that I'm getting from is more important. So the person that we hear the katha from, the transcendental knowledge.
Okay, we can.
Should be in parampara. Yes, yeah. That's about parampara. And next thing is, Lord Krishna is saying, I am giving this knowledge to you, Arjuna, because you are bhaktosi me sakacheti. Because you are my devotee and you are my friend. Rahasyam. What I'm giving you is actually confidential knowledge, Arjuna. But I'm giving it to you because you are a devotee and a friend. We just take these words as generic, dear devotees. Bhagavad Gita, it was studied by, scholars also. They write theses on Bhagavad Gita too. But they may not even have a drop of bhakti. So for them, it's just a matter of thesis knowledge only. Even for the devotees also, when Bhagavad Gita is received from the Lord, bhaktosime sakacheti, with devotion in the heart, with friendship and devotion, then Bhagavad Gita is understood better. Yeah. And the deeper meaning of this is rahasyam hi etad uttamam. This transcendental knowledge is actually rahasyam, confidential. And we think, what is so confidential about it? There are Bhakti Shastri courses about it. There are, so many classes available in Bhagavad Gita, on Bhagavad Gita. What is so confidential about it? Why is the Lord calling it as rahasyam? It is confidential because the real import of Bhagavad Gita gets into the heart as much as we are a bhakta and as much as we are a sakha. As much as we are obliged and harmonious with the Lord. That is being bhakta. Being bhakta. So, proportionate to that, then the realizations also will be there. Otherwise, it will again be knowledge. It will remain rahasyam only. It will remain confidential only. It will be like, okay, I heard the whole Bhagavad Gita. I know the information. But that information can be, it can be knowledge, realized knowledge when when our mood is imbued with devotion, when we receive Gita. So that's about little introduction on transcendental knowledge, that it needs to be received in parampara, and one who has devotion, ananya bhakti, and they will be able to understand this rahasya. Okay. Now, Lord Krishna, he answers many questions, dear devotees. These answers will be helpful to us and also to answer the general public. Anyone who comes to us with their questions, these answers will be able to help us to answer their questions about Lord Krishna. So what are those questions? Essential questions that are answered here. And right now, in the next few verses, Lord Krishna talks about his birth. What's the difference between the birth and the appearance? And when does the Lord appear? Why does he appear? And is he touched by karma? Essential questions. Remember, in the very beginning, we had set of a whole list of questions that we want the answers from. So from those, most of the questions will be answered here in the 4th chapter. So now, Lord Krishna, to the question, we hear that Lord Krishna's birth, right? But Bhagavan, does he really Is his birth really the same as any one of our birth? If that is the case, why is he Bhagavan? So is birth a real term or appearance a real term for Bhagavan? Does Bhagavan really take birth or does he appear? That's the question. For that, Lord Krishna is answering. Ajo apisan avyayatma bhutanam ishvaro apisan prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atma mayaya. Lord Krishna says, Ajo, I don't have birth. Avyayatma, I am untouched. Bhutanam ishvaro apisan. I am the Ishvara. I am the Lord of all living entities. I don't have birth. Then what is it that we see, Krishna, when you come onto this planet, when we celebrate Janmashtami? What is that, Krishna? That is Prakritim Swamadhishtaya Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Prakritim Swam Adhishtaya. I am situated in my own transcendental position. Swam, my own, Prakritim, transcendental position, Adhishtaya, situated. With no change, I am situated in my own transcendental position and Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. I am Sambhavami. I appear Atma Mayaya by my own internal energy. So, Lord Krishna appears. He is not forced to take birth. We are all forced to take birth because of our karma. And Lord Krishna, he appears Sambhavami Atma Mayaya with his internal energy on his own accord. Why does he appear? Lord Krishna. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam dharma samstapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyudhanama tadatmanam srijamiyaham. Tat atmanam srijamiyaham. That's when I appear. Arjuna, when does the Lord appear? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyudhanama adharmasya. So whenever the irreligion becomes prominent, in order to establish the religion, and even more specifically, paritranaya sadhunam, in order to reclaim the pious souls, vinashaya cha dushkritam, and to destroy dushkritas, the evil-minded. Dharma samstapanardaya, to establish the religion. Sambhavami yuge yuge, I appear again and again. This is why and when Lord Krishna appears. So here, dear devotees, yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. For dharma samstapana, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, he doesn't have to come himself. One of his expansions can come, or he can empower a Shakti Vaishyavatara. Or again, the Amsha of Bhagavan can come and then establish the Dharma. And Vinashaya cha dushkrutam, and to kill the demons. That also, Ishvara Para Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Ishvara Para Krishna Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. The cause of all causes, Lord Shri Krishna, he doesn't have to come personally just to establish the Dharma. He could do it through his expansions or by empowering a jiva. And he could kill the demons also through his expansions. And as Rudra, when he dances, the whole universe is annihilated. So he doesn't have to come necessarily in person. But he comes. Why is he like that? There is one thing that only he can do. Paritranaya sadhunam. The devotees are waiting to see him, to reclaim the pious soul. Only when he comes here in person, as he is, and perform his pastimes here, all those pious souls, they see the pastimes, they hear about the pastimes, and they get attracted to Krishna. So in order to attract these pious souls and rejoice the devotees, for that reason, Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears as he is. That is his primary purpose. The rest of them are secondary things. Because he has appeared, of course, he will kill the demons. And of course, he will establish the dharma like that. So that's about Lord Krishna's appearance, why he appears, and when does he appear. Whenever religion predominates, the Lord appears. And why does he appear? Especially for Paritranaya sadhu. In this Kali Yuga, dear devotees, what is the form of the Lord that has come to establish the religion? Kali Kala will be Krishna Avatara. That's Nama Avatara. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Why like that? Because Vinashaya cha dushkrutam, Lord Krishna said that. There are demons everywhere. And there is demonic tendency in all of us in Kali Yuga. It's just Kali Yuga. So in order to extinguish or vanquish the demonic tendency, the Lord has come in the form of Nama, Harinama. So it can enter into our hearts and cleanse the heart of all the dirt, so the demonic tendency will go away. So that is for the Kali Yuga. And that's about the appearance of the Lord. Now that the Lord has appeared, okay, when Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, since then everybody, most of us, whoever knows Sanatana Dharma, they know about Lord Krishna. So now that the Lord has appeared, what happens when we know about the activities of the Lord, the pastime and appearance of the Lord? Because we just heard, this is the primary reason why Lord comes, appears on the planet. To appear to us and to perform activities for our own sake. Why? Because Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanmana iti mam iti so Arjuna. We all celebrate Janmashtami. Everybody knows about Janmashtami. And so many people know about Lord Krishna. Some people, the scholars, they think, oh, what a wonderful personality, historical personality. That's all. They write the thesis, done. Do they really know who Krishna is? Not really. And some people, they want to become Krishna because they think, oh, Krishna is a wonderful personality. You know, when the Brahman, when the pure consciousness is touched by modes, then it's the form of Krishna. So Brahman is superior, but when touched by modes and takes a form, that's Krishna, who is inferior to Brahman, who is full of goodness. So I can become Krishna too. You can become Krishna too. We can all become God. And we can merge in the God. That is one theory that we hear, that impersonalism. Do they really know Krishna? Lord Krishna is answering that question. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanmana iti mam iti so Arjuna. Whoever knows that my janma and my karma, my janma, here birth is appearance, because he's not forced to take birth. He's coming here voluntarily through his internal energy. That's why it's Lord's appearance day, not birthday. Birth is forced by karma on a jiva. Birth is not forced on Bhagavan. Bhagavan appears with Ichha Shakti. And karma of Bhagavan are leelas. They are pastimes. Whatever Lord does are pastimes. He's not forced to do, but he just likes to do it. That's why they're called pastimes. Our actions are forced actions. We are forced to perform because of the influence of modes. So Lord's actions are pastimes and ours are forced actions. And Janma karma cha me divyam. So whoever knows that my janma or appearance and my pastimes are divyam, transcendental, they are not touched by modes, as the impersonals think. They are divyam. Evam yo vetti tattvataha. So whoever knows me in this tattva, in this fundamental knowledge, then they tyaktva deham punarjanmana iti. Once they discard this body, leave the body, they will not have punarjanma, reincarnation again. Mam iti so Arjuna, they attain me. So only when Lord Krishna is known in tattva, in Bhagavad tattva, that he is the cause of all causes, that he is not forced to appear, he's not forced to take birth, but appears on his own accord, and his actions are not forced, that he is the supreme controller, and that he is the very source of the Brahman, like this. Those who knows Bhagavan in tattva, only they, when they leave this body, go to Krishna. Because it's not an easy job to go back to Godhead. Just emotions will not carry us till there. It will keep us in the modes. So tattva of the Bhagavan will sail us through. And that is why it is important to know about the Lord, the Bhagavad Tattva. So that's about the Lord and Bhagavad Tattva. What happens when we know about Bhagavad Tattva, about the Lord? Lord Krishna is saying, he already said here, right? Mam iti so Arjuna, they come to me. That is, they come to me is after leaving this body. But while they are in the body, how does knowing Krishna help us while we are in this body? Yes, when we leave the body, we go back to Godhead. When we know the Lord in Tattva and bhajante, worship him. But what happens when we are still in this body? Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mam upashritaham bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavam agataha. Lord Krishna says, Vita raga bhaya krodha. They'll be freed from raga, attachment to this material world. Bhayam, they'll be freed from the fear, and they'll be freed from krodha, anger. How does that happen? Those are not ordinary things. Manmaya mam upashritaha. By taking refuge in me, bahavo jnana tapasa, they will attain this knowledge and do the tapasa. Bhakti yoga is a tapasa. So they will attain realized knowledge by taking refuge in me, and puta madbhavam agataha. They get purified and they will attain my bhava. They come to the, the asakti, bhava, prema, the stage in bhakti. Like that. So that stage of asakti, bhava, prema, they are way beyond anartha nivritti, after nishta, after ruchi, like that. So in order to sustain even the anartha nivritti, we need the bhakti. To practice bhakti steadily, we need the tattva, the shastra, as an anchor to save ourselves from the sankalpa and vikalpa of the mind. So in this way, the tattva, Bhagavad tattva, how do we know that we are understanding Bhagavad tattva? We are realizing Bhagavad tattva when we are being freed from raga, bhaya, krodha, and then it means we understood Bhagavad tattva. Because when we understand Bhagavad tattva, we will realize that we have to take refuge in Bhagavan. Otherwise, this raga, bhaya, krodha will not go. When we understand Bhagavad tattva, we take refuge in Him. That's how the raga, bhaya, krodha goes. If we still have raga, bhaya, krodha, means we haven't taken enough refuge of the Lord. It means we haven't realized that He is Bhagavan. Like that. Okay. Now that the Lord has appeared and He has performed the pastimes, and yes, He needs to be known in tattva. And when we take refuge in Him, then these beautiful things happen. Free from attachment, fear, and anger. Does that happen to everybody? Ye yadha mam prapadyante tamstadaiva bhajami aham. Mama vartamanu vartante manushyaha partha sarvashaha. Whoever knew Krishna as a historical figure, Krishna just granted them PhD, that's all. They saw Krishna as historical figure and that's it. Thesis written, PhD. There ends his chapter there. And whoever wanted to become Krishna as impersonalists, if at all that can happen in this Kali Yuga, merging in Brahman, that is such a difficult, impossible job in Kali Yuga. But for a Jnana Yogi, in the previous yugas. And if their desire was to merge in his effulgence, then Krishna would reciprocate accordingly. Okay, so be it. If that's want, you want to just hang in Brahmajyoti, then that's fine. You get the Sahyajya Mukti. No, Krishna, we want to go beyond that. We want to come to you. We want loving service. We want to serve you lovingly, Krishna. Okay, tadastu. Ye yada mam prapadyante tamstadaiva bhajamyaham. Proportionate to your desire and surrender, I reciprocate. So vitaraga bhaya krodha, proportionate to your taking refuge in me, then all those things will dissipate. All of us are doing bhakti. Why is it only few have vitaraga bhaya krodha better than others? Because it's ye yadamam prapatyante tamstataiva bhajamyaham. And so that's about Krishna, Lord Krishna reciprocating to us. This shloka doesn't hold good for the gopis. For the gopis, it's a different one. And because their love for Lord is so much that Lord Krishna himself cannot repay. That's different. But here in Bhagavad Gita, so this is about how Lord Krishna reciprocates with all the living entities. That's about Lord Krishna. And now, we have heard about Jarma, Karma. What activities, okay, pastimes, the Lord performs the pastimes to attract us, the devotees by souls. And does he do anything else in this material world? The Lord says, Chatur Varnam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasaham Tasya Kartaram Apimam Vidya Kartaram Avyayam. We have heard about this caste system, right, dear devotees? Caste system, that word itself is because that was very much abused. Caste system was misunderstood and abused in the recent years. In the name of caste, when the people were looked down and abused. But what actually is this caste system? Where did this come from? The original caste system, this English word doesn't do justice to what Lord Krishna created. What Lord Krishna created was Daivi Varnashrama Dharma. Varna, Ashrama, Dharma. They are very natural. Like Varnas, there are 4 Varnas. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. Those are natural propensities, natural inclination of a soul. There's nothing artificial about it. If somebody is naturally inclined to teach, that person is called Brahmana, not because they're born in the Brahmana family. If a person is naturally inclined to do managerial activities, administration, then he's called Kshatriya, not because he's a son of a Kshatriya. And if a person is very much attracted to do business dealings, then he is a Vaishya. And if a person is not interested in any of the skilled activities but unskilled activities, then he's a Shudra. It's just natural. And a mixture of these tendencies, inclinations in a person are very natural. So whatever tendency or inclination predominates, they will be that. A teacher or an administrator or a businessman or just a physical worker, like that. It's very natural. Those are varnas. Ashramas are also natural. When a boy grows up, he's in youth, he's a brahmachari. After that, when he's disciplined and gets some knowledge of how to make use of life, he enters into the married life. That says grihastha ashrama. And around 50 years, when it's time to get detached from this world because we don't belong to this place, then they enter into the vanaprastha. And if a person, whenever his calling is to work for the Lord, then he would be a sannyasi. A brahmachari could be directly a sannyasi, or from a grihastha to sannyasi, or a vanaprastha to sannyasi. These 4 are also very natural in the lifespan of a human being. So these are all natural happenings. When this is happening naturally, it means that is designed by the Lord like that. And that is Daivi Varnashrama Dharma. So if a person is choosing a profession based on their natural inclination, that is Daivi Varna. But if a person is forced to choose an occupation because of their birth, a Brahmanas, you are born in the Brahmana family, so you should be a Brahmana, though he doesn't have any Brahmanical qualities, then that is the recent polluted caste system which was misunderstood. Yeah. So the original Daivi Varnashrama Dharma means the natural inclination that a soul has to be one among those in Varnas, and the natural phases in a life span of a human being. That's the 4 Varnas and 4 ashramas. That's Daivi Varnashrama. That's designed by the Lord. It's just the nature's design. And so if somebody says, oh, this Daivi Varnashrama is created by the Lord. So since he's creating this, is he affected by karma? Because anybody who works is affected by karma. So is Bhagavan also affected by karma? That's one question. And there is a sect in India who see Krishna as a performer of karma, not as Bhagavan. And even if they say he is Bhagavan, they say even Bhagavan is also controlled by karma. And they say because Krishna did adharma in Kurukshetra war, right now he is in the hell. And there is one sect like that in India. Because they think karma is the Bhagavan, Krishna is subordinate. So they think the actions of the Lord, Bhagavan, are karma. So he is also bound by karma. We actually hear so much of it in India. Even in these TV serials also, oh my goodness, they confuse us even more. For that, the Lord is answering this question. Is he bound by karma? Namam karmani limpanti, nami karma phale spriham, iti mam yo abhijanati, karma bhir na sabhadyate. Lord Krishna is saying, Namam karmani limpanti. There is no karma that can bind me. I don't come under the influence of karma. Name karma phala spruha. I don't have the spruha, conscious of the fruit of the work. I don't care what the fruit of the work is. Why would it touch me? So, itimam yo abhijanati. Who knows me? That I am not bound by karma and no karma touches me, then karma bir nasabhadyate. They will not be bound by karma. How beautiful is that? So this is the answer from the Lord for those who think Bhagwan is bound by karma. To all those producers and directors who broadcast the show saying, oh, even Bhagwan is also bound by karma. We should send this to them. What Bhagwan is saying. So that's about if the Lord is bound by the karma. That's the answer. And now, that was the first topic, dear devotees, about Lord Krishna. Now, the second topic is, remember, what is karma, vikarma, and akarma? I'll tell the quick definitions. Akarma is very simple. Those activities that are forbidden in the Vedas. Akarma. Sinful actions. That's simple. Then what? That is vikarma. Those activities that are forbidden is vikarma. Then what is akarma and what is karma? Here in this context, akarma is inaction. Again, what is this inaction? This is a touch of Nishkama Karma Yoga here. We already see it. Inaction is you're performing an action, but you're not touched by it. In other words, you are not bothered by the result. So here, inaction means Nishkama Karma Yoga. Okay? And in the same context, I'll just mention two words. When you hear it from somewhere, at least you know. When you hear action in inaction, there's one more. Inaction in action. What does that mean? Action in inaction means there is action going on even though when the person is inactive. It means Arjuna, when he wanted to go to forest as a sannyasi, Lord Krishna says, no, that is pretension. Because you may not be doing any action outside. You may not be fighting the war, but you will be thinking about the war. So there's a lot of action going on in your mind, though there is no action going on with the body, and that is pretension. And that is not encouraged. So action in inaction is not encouraged. But inaction inaction. Inaction, in action is encouraged. What is this? Inaction is not being involved, even though when the person is doing the action. It means Nishkama Karma Yoga. I just mentioned this because if you hear it somewhere, at least you understand what it means. That's why I mentioned those terms. So here, Vikarma is a forbidden action. We heard that. And Akarma is inaction, means Nishkama Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga. And karma. What is karma? Karma here means performing a sacrifice. Means sakama, performing an action for a result. That's what karma here means. A little technical, this little bit, dear devotees. So now we will hear a little bit about this inaction, which means Nishkama Karma Yoga. And the next word is karma or sacrifices. Why is the Lord saying this? Because if you look at this, yes, here. We heard about parampara, nature, purpose, reciprocation, varnashrama. Krishna is untouched. We have covered these topics. Right now, we are here now. Action. Vikarma, we have already heard about that. Akarma is Nishkama Karma Yoga. And karma means sacrifices here. So we will be hearing about these two now. A little bit about Nishkama Karma Yoga. This is beautiful. No technicalities here. Symptoms of a sadhaka, of a Nishkama Karma Yogi. Beautiful one, because it holds good for Bhakti Yogi also. And the symptoms of a Siddha in Nishkama Karma Yogi. That is also Bhakti Yogi. Beautiful. So we will see what the symptoms are. Very nice. And after that, this is just a list of sacrifices. That's just a slide we'll go through. So these are the two things we will touch upon now. Okay. Now going to the Nishkama Karma Yogi. What are their symptoms? So, yeah, this is a nice one, devotees. This is not a technical one. These are the symptoms. So it's like the devotee qualities. Very nice. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah karmani abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Very nice. Here, please see, dear devotees. Tyaktva karma phala sangam. Okay, not bothered by the result. I will keep going in my service. I will keep doing my duty, not bothered by the result. We heard that. Wonderful. And the next one comes. Nitya trupto nirashrayaha. Beautiful. Always satisfied. Always satisfied internally. Nirashrayaha. Not really dependent on anything externally. Whoa. That's beautiful. Karmani abhipravrittopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. He always performs actions, but is never touched by the fruit of those actions. Wow. This sounds like a magic. How to get there, huh? The whole Nishkama Karma Yoga is like that. It tells how beautiful is this, isn't that so? But how to get there? That's why when we look at this as Bhakti Yoga, then we can see how to get there. How can anyone be Tyaktva Karma Phala Sangam? I'll keep going in the performing the duty, not being affected by the modes. When it is looked as a sacrifice to Lord Vishnu, only when it is seen as a service. How can one always be satisfied? Always be satisfied is wonderful. It is rooted in goodness. Rooted in goodness without shaking? How is it possible? Because you're anchored to something inside. Nirashraya, you're not dependent on anything and anybody outside. How is that possible? Because you're dependent on something very important inside. This is in as a sadhaka, Nishkama Karma Yogi, as a sadhaka. This is just in sadhana stage. Nitya trupto nirashrayaha. And always working, but is untouched. This is so close to Nishta. So close to Nishta. Because always doing and untouched. And next comes, what are the symptoms of a bhakti yogi, Nishkama Karma yogi, and a siddha? Nirashiryata chittatma tyakta sarva parigraha shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham yadricha dvandvatito vimatsarah samau siddhau asiddhau cha kritvapi na nibadyate gata sangasya muktasya ज्ञानावस्थित चेतसा यज्ञाय आचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते. He enters into the transcendence. Samagram praviliyate. How is that happening? Nirashir yatachittatma. Nirashir. There is no desire for anything outside. Oh, that's peaceful right there. Nirashiryata chittatma. In the chitta, there is no desire for anything outside, and there self-control. Tyakta sarva parigraha. Tyaktva, they gave up the proprietorship, sense of proprietorship. Wow. Shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. This body is anything the devotee does is just to maintain this body. Not too much attached to the body, but this body has to be maintained. And actions will be performed by this body, but the devotee stays untouched by the karma. Yatricha labha santushto. He doesn't make plans to accumulate. Not to accumulate the money, not to accumulate the resources, not to accumulate the food. Yatricha labha santushto. Whatever comes on its own accord, they're happy, satisfied. They're just satisfied with whatever comes on its own accord. There are no active plans made. Dvandva atito vimatsaraha. Dvandva atito, beyond the duality. Vimatsaraha, and there is no envy. Wow. How can that be possible? Dvandva atito vimatsaraha. That is Cheto Darpanam, right? Only Guru and Gauranga can take us to that platform. Dvandva atito vimatsaraha. Sama siddhau asiddhau cha. Always the same in siddhi or asiddhi. Whether they have accomplished the success or even if it's a failure externally. Sama. Always equipoised. Kritvapi na nibadyate. Never entangled in any activities. No mental entanglement. Gata sangasya muktasya. Sangasya muktasya. They are liberated from the sangha of the modes. Jnana avashtita chetasa. This is beautiful. Here is the clue. They are very much, their chitta is so much situated in the transcendental knowledge. Yet, yajna acharatah karma. All their activities are the services to the Lord, sacrifices to the Lord. Externally, and they are very much, their chitta is very much situated in the transcendental knowledge internally. So this is, in the third chapter last time, Tattvavit. We heard that, right? This is very similar to that. So in this way, this Nishkama Karma Yogi, Bhakti Yogi, Samagram Praviliyate, enters into the transcendence. That's beautiful. That's about akarma. And now the next topic is, what are the sacrifices? Okay, not everybody may be able to do Nishkama Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Then what about those people who want something out of what they are doing? Okay, then, so sacrifices are also encouraged in the Vedas for those who are not so pure enough to take up the process of yoga. Then what are those sacrifices? There's a list there. Those who offer sacrifices to demigod worship, their sacrifice is for the demigods. And Brahman worship, impersonal Brahman, they are sacrificing for the Brahman. And what are the brahmacharis sacrificing? They are doing the sense control. What are grihasthas sacrificing? They are doing sense gratification, but is restricted. What are Ashtanga yogis sacrifice? What is their sacrifice? Mind and life air control, pranavayu. And what is the sacrifice by those people who are doing charity? They are sacrificing their possessions. And sacrifice of those people who are doing austerity, why are they doing it? For the higher planetary system. Soma Yajna, Indra Yajna, etc. They perform the austerities, and that's for that sacrifice is for higher planetary system. Mystics, why are they doing the sacrifice? For the siddhis. And those who read Vedas, why are they doing that sacrifice? To gain Vedic knowledge. So why are these sacrifices encouraged? At least they will be cleansed of sinful reaction. That's why the Vedas, they encourage sacrifices, because sacrifice means you are willing to let go something of you, your possessions, your sense control. So you are willing to take some discomfort or let go something from you for a higher reason. Here the higher reason is higher to where their consciousness is. But at least they have, this tendency of letting it go away is encouraged by promoting the sacrifices. That's why Vedas promote sacrifices. And with this, they are cleansed of sinful reactions. When they do the punya, their papa karma are washed away. With their pious activities, their sinful reactions are cleansed. Their sinful tendency is not gone, but only sinful reactions. Some of the sinful reactions are gone. When you do a lot of, when you donate a lot of money in this life, then the likelihood of you becoming poor in the next life is less because you're accumulating good karma. So this is more based on the karma. So sinful reactions may be gone by the sacrifices, but not the sinful tendency. But when these sacrifices are continued, all the sacrifices as they continued, because they have the sense of sacrifice over a period of time, gradually, ultimately, they will culminate in sacrificing for the Lord Vishnu. Gradually, ultimately, over many, many, many lifetimes, whatever it may take for the jiva. So ultimately, it will culminate into the transcendental knowledge. So all this was material knowledge, but because of the element of the sacrifice, gradually over many lifetimes, they will end up in culmination of transcendental knowledge. So that's the purpose of sacrifice or sakama karma yoga. Yeah, like that. Or yeah, in a way, it's like that. So that's, we heard about that, dear devotees. So karma, which is sacrifice, and akarma and vikarma, we have covered that. And next, the other two topics. Oh, actually, this is a beautiful one. Karmas, right? So many sacrifices, right, dear devotees? Especially for us who are coming from India. And all the Westerners who are so fascinated about the Siddhis. And even for us too, dear devotees. You see all these things? Brahmajyoti, sense control, charity, austerity, Siddhis, Chandas, Vedic knowledge. Isn't that all so fascinating? How wonderful will that result be? Right? The result of this, any of these sacrifices, how can a person get the result of all these sacrifices in one stroke? This is from Padma Purana, Adi Purana. Nanama sadrisham jnanam, nanama sadrisham vratam, nanama sadrisham dhyanam, nanama sadrisham phalam, nanama sadrishas tyago, nanama sadrishas shamaha, nanama sadrisham punyam, nanama sadrishi gatihi, namaiva parama muktir, namaiva parama gatihi. Namaiva parama shantir, namaiva parama stitihi, namaiva parama bhaktir, namaiva parama matihi, namaiva parama pritir, namaiva parama smritihi, namaiva karanam jantur, namaiva prabhureva cha. Namaiva paramaradhyo, namaiva paramo guru.
10 a.m. So it starts from here 9 a.m.
So that is all the results of those sacrifices in one stroke with the Nama, with the holy name. This is why it is said, holy name is the pinnacle. Even to be able to chant the holy name, we have crossed over. We have crossed over all these things, dear devotees. We don't have attraction to any of these things that are mentioned. That's not ordinary. That we don't even feel attracted to all those. That itself is extraordinary. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. We get attracted to the holy name. And we are given opportunity to chant the holy name of the Lord. It means all the results of all the sacrifices are surpassed. And the list you see here, how the jnana comes nowhere to Nama. The vratam comes nowhere to Nama. The dhyanam is incomparable to Nama. And the phalam, the fruitive activities are incomparable to Nama. Sacrifices are incomparable to Nama. Shama, sense control is incomparable to Nama. Nothing gets closer to the Nama, the potency of the Nama, and the results of the Nama. This is from Adi Purana, dear devotees. Yeah. So the sacrifices are for those who are not able to do yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga. And what to speak of the devotee who is given a chance to utter the holy name, Nama. So that is our fortune, and that's the potency of the holy name. Now, coming to the final two topics. Now that the Lord Krishna He explained about him and he explained about the karma, vikarma, and the karma. Now, because he's speaking about the transcendental knowledge, he already mentioned that it should be received in a parampara. Why like that? Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnaninastattvadarshinaha. Tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshi. Only Tattvadarshi. One who has seen truth, one who have realized truth, one who is living in truth. Only he can impart that into the heart of a disciple. So that happens in a parampara. So dear devotees, here Lord Krishna, how nicely he has put forward transcendental knowledge. Okay, now I am interested in bhakti. I have some questions in bhakti. How do I approach? How do I get knowledge? Tat vidhi pranipatena. Your responsibility is, oh, this is so beautifully said. Tat vidhi. If you want to know the transcendental knowledge, your responsibility is pranipatena. First word, you have to surrender. Take the pranipati of who? Tattvadarshi. Then pariprashnena sevaya. First, surrender, submit yourself. This is something so internal, dear devotees. If pranipati does not happen, there is not much sevaya that happens. Even if the seva is done, it is external service. And if pranipati is not happening, submission to that person is not there, then the questions that are asked also, even when the answers are given by the spiritual master, it will not touch the disciple because the disciple is not ready. There is no pranipati. Unless there is pranipati, unless there is faith and submission in us, the questions that we place to our spiritual master, they don't have a lot of substance because we are still in the superficial mood. And even when they give the answer, we are not the right receptacle yet because we don't have that faith and we don't have that submission that is needed to become like a cup so the mercy can be received. This is very important because without understanding this process, we think question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. How many questions we may ask? And with all their patience, even if the spiritual master is answering all the questions, nothing goes inside us because we don't have pranipati. Even if they are upadikshanti te jnanam, even if they are giving knowledge, it doesn't go into the heart. It doesn't, we can't understand it doesn't sit in the heart. So we have to think, how much pranipati do I have before I place a question? How much faith do I have in a person that I'm asking this question? How much faith do I have in that person? And how much am I ready to submit to the response that was going to come out from that person? Otherwise, that question is not of much use, even if the answer comes. So, tat vidhi, our responsibility is pranipati first. Then pariprashnena sevaya. Then, See, and the other thing here is, even if there is no pariprashna happening, if our mood is pranipati, if we have the faith in person that we are serving, and if we are subordinate, that mood of submission is so much needed, because otherwise, even if they speak, we may not be able to agree or understand what they say. So if somebody has that mood, full faith in the person, and then submission, they don't even have to put any questions. We don't have to put any questions. Just with that mood itself, the service will automatically come out. And all the questions that we have within, the answers will be given. Just with the presence of the devotee. It doesn't have to be verbal. The answers will be given. That pranipatina is so crucial, so important. Yeah, there's an example that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, somebody went to him and he said, I have questions and I need some answers for you. They're pretty tough philosophical questions. I thought you will be able to answer better, so I have come to you. Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta immediately said, if you go and help in the kitchen, you will get the answers. He didn't even hear what the questions were, because the mood of that person was like that. I have questions, I need an answer. Unless that submissive servitude mood is there, it will not come. So that person, he didn't know why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was saying that. So he went and he did the service. He did it for a long time. And all his questions were answered. So he came back to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And then he said, thank you, I got the answers. Without asking the questions. So that mood is important. Next. Yeah, so when we receive this jnana from a Tattvadarshi Guru, what will be the result? Yajnatva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshani drikshyasi atmani atho mayi. This is so beautiful. Lord Krishna is saying, when we receive that jnana from that Tattvadarshi with that pranipati, then that jnana will cause the bewilderment to go away and not to return. There will be no more bewilderment. There is no more moham. And yena bhutani asheshani drakshyasi atmani atomayi. He sees all the living entity as Krishna's. He will be bestowed a pure vision. Having that pure vision to be able to see all the living entities as Krishna's without bewilderment, that's not ordinary. How can that happen in a person, in a devotee, when there is no pranipatina? Right? So, when that sequence is followed, as Lord Krishna says, the jnana that is given by the Tattvadarshi Guru can cause this in the disciple. This is why I was saying a while ago, to be able to, in this year, right? Yeah, in Siddha, somehow Siddhau, Asiddhau cha. Dvandva atito vimatsaraha. This is not ordinary. We cannot come on our own to this stage. It's because we're full of ahamkara. We are full of duality. How can that dvandva atito happen? So we cannot do it. But how can it happen to us? This is how it happens. Tat vidi pranipatena. When there is pranipati and when the jnanam is given by Tattvadarshi, when the jnanam is received like that, that will make the jiva free of illusion. And this Tattvadarshi will be able to give that pure vision to the sadhaka, where they can see all living entities as Krishnas. And that's how we can become dvandvatito, vimatsaraha. Last slide, dear devotees. This is also very important. We heard about receiving the jnana from the spiritual master, right? We're also hearing about bhakti. We are also hearing about Harinam. How is it that some devotees, they are able to get it sooner than the other devotees? What is it that is different from person to person? Shraddhava labate jnanam tatpara samyatendriyah jnanam labdva param shantim achirenadhigacchati. Achirenadhigacchati. The Lord, here also in Srimad Bhagavatam also, achirena. It doesn't take too long. Adhigacchati. You will reach the destination. It doesn't take too long. How come it doesn't take too long? When you have Shraddha, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. When you are receiving the jnanam, have full faith in it. Tatpara samyatendriya, have sense control. These two things, dear devotees. Sense control, again, not just the five senses, but the mind. Having the mind control, sense control, and the faith in what we are hearing, the potency of bhakti, the potency of the nama, the potency of the acharyas, the potency of the vani, having that faith and doing the bhakti. When we do the japa, if we don't hear anything about the japa and we just start doing the japa, okay, hold the bill bag, okay, I have to finish it, okay, 10 rounds here, 2 rounds here, japa done. That's one way of doing japa. Even before we hold the bead bag, when we come to the present moment and then do it with faith, this japa that I'm going to do, this Harinam is potent. Bhagwan is here in this Harinam. So I should be chanting in a prayerful mood, attentively. Prayerful mood, attentively, and having the faith, if I am doing this, when I am doing this japa in a prayerful mood, in an attentive way, all auspiciousness will come. It may not be exactly as I'm looking for. Krishna doesn't have to be an order supply for me, like the auspiciousness have to come like this. I have to become a pure devotee overnight. No. Krishna doesn't have to go with my rules. But the auspiciousness will come. The change will happen. So having that faith, when I'm doing this japa, when I'm doing this bhakti, the auspiciousness will come. So that is doing with the life. And that's when achirena adhigacchati. Then the destination is easily attained very soon. Because we are hearing the knowledge. We are hearing the shastra. We are hearing the classes. Are we really hearing? Is it really going inside? It goes inside when we are paying attention to it and when we have the faith in that message and faith in the person who is speaking also. What if those things are not there? Ajnascha, shraddadhanascha, ajnascha, ashraddadhanascha. Samshayatma vinashyati. Nayam loko asti na paro na sukham samsayatmanaha. Even when we are who cannot attain jnana, who cannot receive transcendental knowledge, even when it is being said, who is it that cannot First is ignorant and faithless. Faithless. Yeah, I am hearing all this, but I don't know. Well, let me give it a try. Yeah, japa, they say it works. Okay, let me give it a try. There's no big faith there. Doing it because you do it. There's no faith. If I take shelter in the holy name, then the Cheto Darpana will happen. That faith is not there. So doing it just because we have to do it is not much faith, faithless. And even more worse than that is doubtful. I don't know, I came into this bhakti. He said to come, she said to come, and I'm doing it, but I really doubt if this is going to be for me. I really doubt if this is going to work for me. Yeah, that is doubtful. So with that mindset, even if we are hearing the Shastra and Sadhuvani with the doubt inside or no big faith inside, then it is hearing but no hearing. It is chanting but no chanting. It's all up in the air. It doesn't even go into our ear canals. Even if it goes, it's just stopped in the big cloud in the upper chamber. So what is it that we need to have in order to avoid all this? Faith. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. And samyatendriya, mind control also, sense control also. Because if we are distracted externally, then how can we focus on the prasadam that is coming to us in the form of knowledge? So these two things. That's all, dear devotees. So that's the 4th chapter about the jnana. We will wind down. We'll pack up now. So what did we hear today? 4th chapter. Bhagavad Gita. We can come to this slide. It'll be easy. So this wasn't too hard, right? Not too technical. Yeah, so this is 4th chapter. We heard about the connection between the 3rd and 4th is because the lust is controlled by transcendental knowledge, jnana. 4th chapter is all about jnana yoga. And in this we heard about Krishna, Lord Krishna. And there the knowledge through the parampara strengthens our sambandha and revives our relationship. And when Lord Krishna is known in tattva, that's when Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha, all those Raga Bhaya Krodha, the deep attachments, anger and fear, they will be gone when Lord Krishna is known in tattva. And what is the purpose of appearance of the Lord? Why does he come? And this is to establish the religion, but more than that, the primary reason is paritranaya sadhuna, to attract the pious souls for the devotees' sake. And how come different people get different results with Krishna? That is ye yadamam prapatyante tamstataiva bhajamyaham. Proportionate to our desire and submission to the Lord, he gives himself accordingly. And who brought the varnashrama into place? Daivi varnashrama is by Lord Krishna himself. It's just natural for the souls to fall in one of the varnas and ashramas. Is Lord Krishna touched by karma? Lord Krishna says, I am not touched by any karma and I don't have the spruha of any karma phala. So he's not touched by karma. Bhagavan is not dictated by karma. Karma cannot dictate Bhagavan. So that's about Lord Krishna. And then we heard about Vikarma, Akarma, and sacrifices. And in Akarma, Nishkama Karma Yoga, we heard the beautiful qualities of Nishkama Karma Yogi or Bhakti Yogi, both as a sadhaka and a siddha. And then we heard about the sacrifices. All the different sacrifices are for those who are not there yet to do any yoga. And all these sacrifices, because these souls have some taste to do the sacrifice, ultimately these souls will be brought to this stage of sacrificing to Lord Vishnu. In this way, they will be attaining spiritual knowledge ultimately. Then we heard about the spiritual master. How in the parampara, it is the Tattvavid Guru that imparts the knowledge because they live in the truth. They saw the truth and they live in the truth. But for a disciple, for the truth to be understood and realized, pranipati is the primemost factor. Otherwise, the questions, though they are answered, they will not be of great value to the sadhaka. So pranipati. When there is pranipati, service will be there and all the answers will be given even before the questions were asked. That is surrendering to Guru. And that kind of jnana that is received from Guru can bestow pure vision, can make a sadhaka see Krishna everywhere. That is Sharanagati Shravana. Pranipati, and then to the Tattvavid Guru. And for all this to happen, we have heard that Pranipati should be there. And what are the other elements? Faith, implicit faith in what we are hearing and from whom we are hearing. With that faith, actually the sense control also happens. Because the faith has such a power. This is more like param drishtva nivartate. The taste of faith is so big, the mind will not go anywhere. Sense control will happen. So, if we don't have faith, then samshayatma na vinashyati. There is no happiness for those persons who are always doubting. They cannot be happy in this world or the next world. That's what Lord Krishna says. Without faith, for a doubting soul, there is no happiness anywhere. So that's the need of the faith. That's all, dear devotees. Thank you all so very much. Yes, I will let you say something now. I honor your association, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my pranams to you, Mataji.
Relaxed.
I thought of waiting for kids to go first.
Okay. Children, do you have anything? Veda and Renu? Yeah, go ahead, beta. Krish also. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, beta.
Thank you for the class, Mataji.
Thank you.
One point I really liked in the class was how you talked about the appearance of Krishna. When does Krishna appear? He appears when Dharma is getting more and Dharma is getting less in this world. Why does Krishna appear? To kill the demons and to protect his devotees. And what happens when we know Krishna's appearance and activities? Krishna said that whoever knows my janma and karma and pastimes and that they are transcendental, they will not take birth again. Instead, they will come to me. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, beta. Renu, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Herbal beta. Veda.
I really like the point where you said transcendental knowledge. How the way to receive transcendental knowledge is from the parampara, and how one can understand Bhagavad Gita is only by a devotee. And is Krishna forced to appear or take birth? I like that point because Krishna appears by his own energy, mercy, on his own will, but on the other side, we are forced to take birth due to our karma. And appearance is by his own will, and it's not related to any of the modes, but our birth is related to the modes, and it's forced by karma.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Yes. Thank you, beta. So now you know. If somebody comes and asks you, then you know the position of Krishna, how his appearance is different and his karma is different. Very nice, beta. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Veda,
Mataji.
Renu. Thank you. Krish and then Akshaj. Yes, beta.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for the class.
Thank you.
What you were saying about the karma is really good. About how they don't actually, I was gonna say they don't care about the results of the actions, but the actions themselves don't have any material results. It's only spiritual results.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one question though
Mhm.
about what you were saying about guru.
Mhm.
What about for those who don't have guru? What can they do? What can we do?
If you want, Krishna will send you.
Yes, but until then,
Until then, you keep hearing about Guru so much, so much, so much that you want Guru. Until then, keep hearing the Shastra, keep chanting, keep doing the service. Until then, it will all be piety. We are doing punya. Devotional service starts when we take the shelter of a devotee. Up until then, what can we do? We collect the punya. The devotional service will not start up until the punya is collected like a mountain. It is said that when the punya account is full, then the devotion account opens. So up until then, keep serving, keep hearing about Krishna and chant. That's all better. Be with the devotees. Otherwise, we'll not be able to do that. We have to be with the devotees. Then the service will go on. Then the chanting will go on. Then the hearing will go on. And if naturally you will feel like, I want a guru.
yes, thank you.
Yes, beta. Thank you. That's a good question. Yeah. Akshat?
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Haribol
thank
beta.
you for the great class.
Thank you.
One point that really stood out to me was that when you said that people, they're not actually reading the parampara, they're just going online, YouTube, and like other things. They're just wasting their time and it's just no use.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just shows how much the internet has a problem in bhakti. And we should just like, we can use the internet, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we can use it in the scriptures, but online.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, beta. We can still use the internet, but hear from the parampara. So,
Yeah, not like
yeah.
from some
Yeah.
unordinary
Otherwise, it will
source.
just be information. It will be information only. And we are already being information overloaded in all different directions. We don't need overload of information. But hearing from the parampara, that's how we can use the internet. Yes, yes, beta, that's a good point.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. Very well, beta. Is that Madhava or Nikunj Vilasini Mataji?
It's
Oh, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Madhava. Yes.
Thank you for the amazing class.
Thank
I
you.
don't. I had a realization
Mhm.
that like we are so fortunate to be in this parampara because we're getting like the true knowledge
Yes.
and like we're receiving shelter and association of great devotees and we're not as confused as like other people and we have like a better and we have like a straight path to Krishna.
Mhm. Yes, beautifully said, beta. We are not confused. We are in the shelter and we have a straight path to Krishna. Very well said, Madhava. Thank you. Thank you, beta.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hari, Hari. Thank you. Akshat, you have something, beta? Your hand is still up.
No, Mataji.
No? Okay. Right. Hari, beta. Yes, and dear parents, if there is anything from you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, my pranams to you, Mataji.
You have recovered again. Thank you, Prabhu.
Katha was so beautiful, Mataji.
Yeah.
So today, I mean, until Katha was going very good, but when you brought that Adi Shloka from Adi Purana, I think that overcome everything. I felt. I mean, that was the highlight of the Katha.
It was a brilliant sun coming all of a sudden, and everything just gets very dim. Of course, Prabhu. That's
There are points I wrote, but after you said that, like, okay, what I need to write more now.
nothing is more effulgent than that. Yes.
Yeah, sorry to comparing this with like kind of a movie, like when that highlight scene of the movie is coming, like everything is okay.
Yeah.
Even if you not paid attention, this part you paid attention, like that relishment comes. So yeah, that was so beautiful, Mataji, I thought. And sinful reaction versus sinful tendency topic, when you explaining, I felt that is also very beautiful. Like I compared it for my own sake. The analogy, like sinful reaction is kind of staircase, but sinful, when we are get rid of sinful tendency with the mercy of Krishna and Guru, then it is kind of a lift we get to go to the transcendental world. Also, how does Krishna reciprocate with us proportionate to our surrender? That was a beautiful point. But the last two slides also, like after that takeoff, holy name can give us everything. And you touched on two things. One is who, like about the spiritual master, and about the faith.
Yeah.
So I felt those 2 points were like more practical in our lives, which can take away biggest roadblocks in bhakti. That Shraddha. Yeah, when I say faith, I'm not getting that feel, but when I say Shraddha, I really get that feel. And you said like without Shraddha, it is like hearing but no hearing, chanting but no chanting. So those words are still ringing in my ears from today's Katha. So how important the disciple have Shraddha on their Guru Vakya. So that's all matters end of the day. So if we are just hearing but no hearing, chanting but no chanting, nothing goes forward. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the beautiful.
Yeah. Faith. Thank you, Prabhu. Faith means hope. Faith means enthusiasm. There is no negativity when we have faith. There is no hopelessness. There is no insecurity. Faith means hope. Faith means enthusiasm. Yeah, in the seva or in the nama, in the bhakti. And doing it with faith is doing it with life, hope and enthusiasm. Yes, Prabhu.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I would just piggyback on what Prana Pavitra Prabhu just shared now. Somehow I was feeling today, that hearing you are in your faith, your Shraddha, your surrender. You can feel it, you're infusing everybody that's hearing you with what you have. And that's really a great service, because I think that is how it gets disseminated, in the parampara. So I'm very grateful to you for that. And also, I was feeling very grateful that, like, to Prabhupada, when this, especially those verses, the Siddha verses you said, no, from 21, 22, 23, those things. Like, I know I'm not there, but at least I know that is where we need to go. That is the standard. Like, that is what you get with this Shraddha, with Pranipatena. When you have that, that is where we will reach. Otherwise, in life, I could have been like so dissuaded, with so many other things. And just feeling so grateful that, first thing for Prabhupada to translate all this in English, because so unfortunate, I don't know any other language, right? English is the only language. Didn't learn Sanskrit so much. If it was not translated, wouldn't have known or understood any of these things. So, it's just feeling so grateful for that. And thank you so much, for infusing your Shraddha and thing to all of us. So thank you. Appreciate it.
You're simple-hearted, simple heart and kind words. They are inspirational. Thank you. Thank you for your association.
Thank you.
It's just a mercy. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Hari Hari. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
My pranam.
Krishna. Pranam, Sri.
Thank you for the packing the whole 4th chapter in an hour, 20 minutes, Mataji. That was very wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. 2 points I really liked is that one is we say, where is the Lord in this yuga when there is so much adharma is happening, and we hear that we have now heard that Lord is in the form of Harinam. And as you said, that why Harinam only? If Lord will come right now and start doing Vinashaya cha Duskritam Paritranaya Sadhunam, then there won't be anyone living here.
All living entities left over. Yeah.
Living entity will be left here. So 2 things that at this age and time, we can't do anything else, just to utter the name. And the second thing is that, Lord is not seeing, we are full of all dushkritam. So he's mercifully given that name, not to kill anything, but we have to purify us and take us away. And the second thing which I really liked is that it talked about taking shelter of Guru in the parampara. And as you said that, why not otherwise? Why only in the parampara? Because it gives us the sambandha. And the way I understand it is that the sambandha is my complete faith on the Guru, and it's Guru's, my mamata on the Guru, and Guru's mamata on the disciple, because they are here just to do that only, just to take us away. So with that, that relationship, this comes down to us. It doesn't remain on the upper chamber. It comes down to the heart, and then it works on us. Otherwise, it just remains on the upper chamber only, if it is not with that sambandha relationship. Please correct me, Mataji, if there is
actually,
more.
that is good. That's also good. Sambandha relationship is based on the Sandhini Shakti. Sandhini Shakti. Yasya prasado bhagavat prasada. Yasya aprasado nagati kutopi. Sakshat haritvena samasta shastre. So Bhagavan's mercy is coming in the form of Sandhini Shakti, personified as Sri Guru, who is giving the shelter in the parampara. So it's more like, the pipe connection. The water tank is there. And here we are a little pipe here. A water tank is there. But there has to be a connecting pipe to us to give the water from the tank. So this is the sambandha.
Okay, Mataji.
So our source to get the water in our pipe is this big pipe that is connecting us to the tank. So anything that gets from the pipe is directly from the source there. So in this way, this is the sambandha. So from tattva standpoint too. And this is why hearing from a parampara is, it strengthens our sambandha. And we will realize all the morning prayers, they are based on sambandha. Initially in the Anardhana Vritti, and later on too, when the personal service is given in the Siddha Deha, that will be from the parampara, not from an outside source, YouTube, Google, you see, not like that. So even in a sadhaka stage or a siddha stage, it is such a crucial thing to be in the parampara. Otherwise, it's just curiosity in the name of spirituality. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Information, 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 information box full. But no sambandha, no realization, no reviving of relationship with Bhagavan.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you.
That helps.
Hare Krishna. Divyambaradhara Mataji. And
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Bhavna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
And
you so
Divyambaradhara.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for such nicely paced lesson. I was able to take notes at my best. Thank you. So I'm still at a very, very low level, I would say, not at all touching the akarma yoga. Even I don't know if I'm doing any sacrifices, to be honest. So nama is one thing which I'm not claiming I do, but there's a bit relief in hearing that it encompasses all the sacrifices. Yeah, and but it's still like there is a thing, as you said, it needs like many births to compile all those like whatever namas you take. It still will take many births to reach to, isn't it? Did I get it
Yeah,
right?
no. The fact that you're talking about the Nama and the fact that you heard about the glories of the Nama, the fact that we are just attending to hear in Bhagavad Gita in a bhakti itself means we have our Sukriti with so much that we are taken to this to this point now. So close to Bhagavan. So not that there is a lot of time that's more needed to go to Bhagavan. No. In Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter, Lord Krishna says this. If you are not spontaneously thinking of me, which is pure devotee, then take up the process. Take the Diksha and do the practice every day. These are initiated devotees. That's the second step. And the third one is, I'm not initiated yet, but I'm just getting to know Krishna. I'm just hearing something from the Bhakta Vriksha. I'm coming to the temple. I'm hearing the classes and I like it. And I want to do some service whenever I can. And I want to hear something. That's the third one. You see how close you are to Krishna now?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's fortune right there. Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you for those kind words, Mataji. I hope someday more realization or more knowledge will come to me. I'll try to be more sincere with the nama jap, as you said, attentive.
And one more thing is, Mataji, it is more important to be with the devotees. That is important. So for somebody who is in the third step here, the deciding factor for them is to be with the devotees. Because to be able to do the nama on their own steadily every day is not going to be easy because they are not committed yet.
Correct.
So that's why it is better. The primemost thing is they tag with somebody who is committed. It is important to be with the devotee and everything else will fall in place. No problem.
Yes. I'm hoping the same, Mataji. Amin to your words, and yeah, just leaving it on to Krishna, how he guides
You
me.
are here with us, Mataji. We look forward to having you regularly. That's it. You are getting close to the shelter.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Anything else that you wanted to clarify? Everything?
No, it was really, really a very good lesson. I really liked the pace, the way you translated. And I hope I'll go through my notes again and will try to understand the deeper meanings. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure. And we'll post the recording also so it can be helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Divyambaradhara Mataji. Thank
Hare
you for
Krishna,
your
Mataji.
patience. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Mataji. My
Hare-
pranams to you.
Pranams to you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for wonderful, wonderful katha.
Thank you.
I really liked, I think there were so many nice points and many devotees have shared. What really struck a chord with me was when you shared that example of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, like when a person came, like he had that mood and he had all those questions and the instruction he got from him, and when he carried that out, all his questions got answered. So I'm taking that lesson, that in my position, trying to do, all that I do, prayerfully, submissively, gratefully, keeping a check on my mood, and hitting reset button as many times as needed in an hour, in a day, in a week, whatever time frame, and 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 I mean patiently waiting that all that is needed in order to sincerely have that faith and love and devotion for the Lordship, it will be given to me when they desire.
Perfect. You said it all. You said it all. Krishna is saying everything, Mataji. Yes, and he knows very well what to give, when to give, how to give, how much to give. Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And being in harmony with ourselves is so important also. Being in harmony with ourselves. Not struggling with ourselves, but being in harmony with ourselves. And bhakti will naturally, it will happen. We are with the devotees. So thank you, Mataji. You said it well. Thank you. Hari Hari. Yes, dear devotees. Okay. All right. So if no more, then we'll see you next week with the 5th chapter. Yeah. Honoring all of your association. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jaya, Srila Prabhupada ki jaya, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jaya. Hare Krishna.